Peruwan Saranai Sielu Dinatama Namo Buddhaya. Good evening, everyone. Very warm welcome to our regular Sunday evening Dhamma blessing program. Just to reflect today's Dhamma sermon, the honey, the bowl of honey, Madhupindika. Explain how someone can live without any conflict. Conflict with oneself, conflict with others. It's a great blessing, it's a great bliss. And that is the highest bliss, in fact. Buddha explain how one can do that by eradicating greed, hatred, and ignorance. And also noting that there are dormant, very, very subconscious level, maybe ego level, super id level defilements called anusayas. We need to really remove those anusayas, kama raga anusaya, desire for sensual pleasures, patigha, aversion, anger, patighanusaya, mananusaya, conceit, ego, think of me, mine, myself, ditthiyanusaya, wrong view, vichikiccanusaya, doubt, bhavaraga anusaya, desire to repeatedly coming for the existence. Finally, avijjanusaya, the ignorance, are the causes of all these conflict. Just seeing those in the mind is the way to get rid of it, called sati, being mindful of those in the mind. And further, those things are being fed by eye, sight, and the contacts. Ear, sound, which generate through the contacts ear consciousness. Chakku viññāna, sota viññāna, nose and the smell, ghana viññāna. Contacts generate the contact consciousness. Similarly, all our senses generate this consciousness. It's like a small brain in our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. Even the modern science talk about different brains in tummy brain and things like that today, which means that consciousness generate with the contacts. Knowing that the way it happens as a hetupala, dependent origination, we will be able to liberate our suffering, live a happy life. Breathe slowly in, breathe slowly out, relaxing the body. The Majjhima Nikaya is divided into 3 sections, 50, 50, and 52. So 50 discourses, another 50 discourses, and another 52 discourses. So this particular discourse is in the first chapter, Number 18 discourse. The Madhupindika Sutta is the number 18 discourse. Here, Madhu means the honey. Pindi means a ball or a lump or a portion. Even though it is the regular Dhammadana program, this season is very important for the Buddhist. The most sacred, the holy period for the monks as well as the community to the temple as well. This is very much a top-up period. Every year, we get a period to lift ourselves in our spiritual powers and blessings. It is a mutual period with the monks and the community working together to get the our individual progress as well as a community to develop. As we all know, when the Buddha passed away, not only the Buddhas, even some other great teachers like Nigantanatha Buddha was contemporary to the Buddha, had a very strong congregation. Even he challenged building a temple very next to the Buddha's place. Buddha went to stop it by asking king to stop it because it was really disturbing. Even king was in favor. So Buddha has to make a strong protest to stop that. That means he was very strong. When he passed away, his teaching scattered away and couldn't really bring it up together. So similarly, the teaching went into a bit difficult situation of the most of the teachers. But however, monks, great disciples, made a lot of effort to, after the Buddha, come together and to establish, preserve these teachings for now 26 centuries after, 2600 years later, we all been benefited from that. So normally monk built a temple. It took about 1,000 bricks. Only one big brick was a difficult, not in the right position. Everybody comes and says it's a great, beautiful building, but look at that brick is not right. So normally we see not the majority of the services, but we normally see the highlight, the shortfall of that. So therefore, when we think of the order of monks, what they have done to preserve and propagate this Dhamma for us after 26 centuries later is yeoman service, is not a simple service. That is why we need to be really grateful for the monks as well as the community for throughout the history. Even though it was set after the some of the monks, but by the time in the Sri Lanka, it was disappeared. So then some monks even lying down on the bank of the river Mahavali was reciting while they were dying in starvation to reserve the Dhamma, just to pass it on to the other generation. You know, we don't take anything away when we passed away. What we have left in this world, what matters in our life. So what we are here to do the same thing, we try to upkeep. Some people may just to highlight and kind of criticize certain things, but we need to see the broader aspect of the history, broader aspect of the congregation, broader aspect. Normally, there was a picture even being circulated recently on social medias. Some people are seeing different things. Mostly what they see, what they want. If your mind is in anger, you will see different things. If your mind is in greed, you would see different things. If your mind is in ignorance, you would see a different thing. Same picture, you would see a different thing. If someone can see something more balanced, equanimous manner, that mind is well developed. So today, as we come to this end of our annual 2023 retreat, today is a very special day. Therefore, I'm very pleased to welcome you all with great gratitude and sharing merits, Punyanumodana, to this special day of official end of the 3 months rainy retreat. So we rejoice together for having a great opportunity for us to gain enormous merits and blessings, knowledge into our life. So not only the knowledge and wisdom, you might be super like Sariputta Hamudro in the wise, knowledge-wise. But if you don't have the merits, your life doesn't make a success. There is a sutta called Chunky Sutta. A great Brahmin had a vast amount of followers. He was clearly realized the Dhamma and he wanted to become a disciple of the Buddha. But a large retinue of the congregation stood up and said, "Are you mad? What would happen to all of us? All our sponsors, all our philanthropists, you are going to kind of betray them all?" So the great teacher couldn't really externally take the refuge in the Buddha, even though within his mind, he was a great disciple of the Buddha. What it stops? The merits. If you had the merits to reach into that, you could have. Sometimes, even in our families, husband says, "Let's go to the temple." Wife says, "Why should you? You went last week as well, isn't it?" So sometimes the husband stops wife going. So that means that our karma comes behind, sometimes like our shadow, sometimes like a weight of cart. So therefore, while we are making a lot of merits, which is very important in our life, we need to cultivate, develop the right wisdom as well. Wisdom alone doesn't make our life successful. We need to have the merits. That's why we take these great opportunities during these 3 months of retreat. Even our Hamdros are sacrificing their life, their time, their energies to support these kind of good causes, because we believe the merits and also kusals in our lives. So therefore, we are very grateful for all the people who supported in many ways for this year 3 months rainy retreat. It is a collective temple work. It's been done by all of your support. If that is not been there, it has not been successful. Therefore, we take this opportunity to share our blessings, merits with them all. And everything was very successful. Here we have come to the final day of the retreat. So therefore, we would like to share that 3 months, very successful 3 months retreat we all have done. We have done every support to the community. Community has done every support to the monks and the temple. And not only that, we can't live alone. We have to take care of other temples. That is something need to be really done. So we have been participating to another 10 katinas this year. We have to decline 5 katinas because we didn't have the time. So therefore, we have doing our best to other temples, and other temple monks also has done their best to make our ceremonies successful. Therefore, I would like to share the merits with them all, as well as to those monks as well. So that gratitude is what is most important. If you are not a grateful person, krutaknyatave, that life doesn't really progress. Once in the Buddha's life, someone invited Buddha to stay in the temple and observe the retreat. Then he disappeared. Buddha spent the whole 3 months, didn't make any disturbances, doesn't want to remind. Even he just managed the food. But Buddha said, that gentleman is the one who invited us. So therefore, let us be humble. Let's go to his house, say thank you and do the blessings for inviting us. That was the time, maybe dementia, we don't know. He was so upset. He said, I'm so sorry. I really forgot it. I really wanted to do that. Therefore, sometimes we see people once in a month, once in 3 months, once in a year. We are not unhappy about it. People have a lot of problems. So like ourselves, people don't know we don't know what they have. They don't know what we have. We are living in our own spaces. Therefore, we need to really practice the compassion. We need to really, so if you don't hear me in year or 3 months time, think I am still all right. So therefore, Buddha was a great teacher like that. He went and said to that gentleman, so thank you. That was the time. Then he made his all best to treat and appreciate the Buddha's time there. So likewise, but you all as the main devotees, sponsors of this year, did not forget us even the last day. You could have done some other things. You are here to show your gratitude, show your strength, show your support to the temple, and it means a lot to us. So therefore, we take this opportunity to wish you all the good health and happiness. That's what we call upasakas. Stay in closer, always staying in touch. So therefore, we are very grateful. The reason you have those good children in your lives, because you are being brought up with the same values. Therefore, your parents has given you that humbleness to how you can be with the monks and the temples in close association is a great blessing. And also, may this be a great meritorious deed to realize the Four Noble Truths and attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now we are moving into our English Dhamma sermon. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the supremely enlightened Lord Buddha. Yatavadi ko auso sadevake loke samarake sabbrahmake sassamanam brahmaniya pajaya sadeva manussaya nakena chiloke viggaiha tittati yatacha pana Kamehi visangyuttang viharantang ti. Dear friends in the Dhamma, Pinnutuni, today our Dhamma discourse is on Madhupindika Sutta. This Madhupindika Sutta translates as Discourse on the bowl of honey. As you all know, our Lord Buddha was in the 6th and the 5th century BC, and he delivered a lot of discourses. We called it three basket, Tripitaka. So all the teachings he delivered in the ministry of 45 years comes to the Sutta Pitaka, the discourses. Sutta Pitaka has 5 sections. First one called Digha Nikaya, collection of long discourses. Second one is called Majjhima Nikaya, the collection of middle-length discourses. Third one is called Samyukta Nikaya, collection of connected discourses. Fourth one is called Anguttara Nikaya, collection of numerical discourses. The last fifth one is called Kuddaka Nikaya, collection of minor discourses. The discourse we are discussing today called Madhupindika Sutta, the discourse on the bowl of honey, is in the Majjhima Nikaya. In the Majjhima Nikaya, there are 152 discourses. The Majjhima Nikaya is divided into 3 sections, 50, 50 and 52. So 50 discourses, another 50 discourses and another 52 discourses. So this particular discourse is in the first chapter, number 18 discourse. The Madhupindika Sutta is the number 18 discourse. Here, Madhu means the honey. Pindi means a ball or a lump or a portion. Because this discourse is a very sweet. It makes your life, you know, honey is in a way it's a food, it's a way it's a medicine, it's a way it's a really important thing. So if you think of this particular reflection delivered by the Buddha, is the sweetest part of the Dhamma. When the Buddha was delivering this discourse, Buddha was in the Nigrodharami monastery near Kapilavattu. You all know where Buddha was born. If someone asks in the BBC where the Buddha was born, someone answered in the questions, India, he was wrong. Somebody answered as Nepal, he was right. So by that time, there was no Nepal, it was India. So now the right answer is actually Buddha was born in Nepal. But he was from Kapilavastu. I don't know whether one of you have been to India. Has anyone? Good. So Kapilavastu is in the border where the India and Nepal, very close border. And they live in the Sakyans. Sakyans are a bit of an advanced, respected, venerated, reputed family, kind of an clan. So Buddha that is his village, his hometown, his kind of an family. So this Nigrodharama was donated by one of the Sakyan called Nigrodha. Buddha went there to see his father, Suddhodana, King Suddhodana, and he was staying there. There are so many beautiful things happen. I'm just concentrating on the discourse. It's a very, very beautiful part of the teaching. So Buddha, one morning while he was staying in his village, came to see the father. You know, you are here to transfer the merits, blessings to your parents. It's important even to the Buddha to went there and to see the father. And he was so happy eventually. And he was able to give the treasure, that assets that today you are transferring merits to your father, because that's what you can do. You are giving the blessings. Blessings, you can't give it if you don't have it. You have to earn the merits to give it. So likewise, Buddha was passing his blessings, giving the Dhamma to his father, was able to release from his suffering, samsara. Is a great discourse that we, very fitting discourse to this end of our retreat season, and also the full moon day today. You know, today full moon day is called ill full moon day. Normally the retreat start in July, we call Asala, end in the Vap. Vap, Vap means the October month, and from the Vap full moon to ill full moon we call Chivara Masa, the final month. So full moon day today called ill full moon day in the month of November. November is ill. Has many significances. Final day of the Katina robe offering ceremony, we call Katinastarana. Katinastarana. final day that you can do. After today, you can't do any kathina in any place. The second retreat termination for the monks who observed post-retreat, we have Pasuvas Peravas, that means monks start the July. So they finish the retreat today. Even the monks started later month, Pasuvas, they has to finish the retreat today. So all monks, monastics assemble to do monastic disciplines to perform special Vinaya karmas, disciplinary acts to end the rainy retreat. Today, this full moon day, after finishing the retreat, Buddha advised 60 first enlightened monks to go forth and share these teachings. He advised don't go 2 monks in one way because he wanted to share that as much as possible. So Buddha advised for the 60 monks to go forth and deliver these teachings to the betterment of the people. And another important call, ordination of 3 powerful hermits, Kashyapa brothers. Buddha encouraged all the monks to go and share the merits of this Dhamma after retreat. Buddha himself went to Gaya, a village called Gaya. When he was going that village, in the middle of the journey, he was sitting under a tree. There came a group of young people, 30 young, very rich and well-to-do young people. And they were asking Buddha, have you seen a lady going on this way? Buddha asked a question, very interesting. The worthy thing is to search a girl, someone or lady, or search yourself. They were desperate to find a lady because they went for a pilgrimage or kind of an fun day. They had 30 friends, club of 30. One person did not have a lady partner. So they hire a person. The person who they hired is a robber, that lady. So while they were having all the fun, the lady they hired steal everything, they disappeared. So these young men were in search of now. Fun was gone now. No fun now. That is what happened to most of us. We go for things for fun and eventually we lose even what we have. So therefore be careful. So then Buddha asks, is it important to search yourself rather searching someone else? That was very interesting question, isn't it? So this young group of 30 called Baddhavagya Kumaroru sat, and it's interesting. They were quite desperate and devastated because they lost everything. And then listen to the Buddha. Buddha taught them Dhamma and they became disciples. What happened to their wives, partners? They went back to their houses and they led a good life, donating their husbands, giving them up. It was interesting to search ourselves. That was the significant thing in the teaching. And then Buddha went into this Gaya called, there was a very popular teachers called Brahmins, Nadi Kashyapa, Gaya Kashyapa. So there were 3 brothers. The first one has 500 disciples. The next one has 300. The next one has 200. So they had nearly 1,000 disciples. Buddha went there. When Buddha went to there, Buddha asked, can I stay here for one night? The head teacher said that only place I can recommend you to stay that room, but that room has a very powerful serpent. That's a very furious, very poisonous serpent there. So if you stay there, we don't know what happened. Buddha said, I don't mind. I will stay there. So during that night, there was a big battle with the Buddha and the serpent, and all of them thought that he will not come. So when Buddha next day morning coming with the serpent in the bowl, all that 500 students and the teacher was amazed to see, oh, you are an amazing person, you are a very powerful person. All of them said, you are very powerful, but you are still not enlightened as our teacher. So most of them say, so they still were thinking. There was a big festival on the following day. He invited, because a big gathering came, he invited Buddha also to come and participate. Buddha said, no, I will just sit next to the river and rest. You go and do your ceremony as you arrange. I don't have to come there. So after having the great ceremony, this teacher went to the Buddha thinking that Buddha now would have been very impressed about what they have been doing. Then he asked, how are you? Then Buddha said that I'm all right. So he eventually had the discussion. Then Buddha asked a question, if someone wanted to go to the other shore of this river, what can you do? Then this person said, you need to learn how to swim, otherwise you can't go. The Buddha said, similarly, you need to know how to cross over this suffering and difficulties. Somehow the conversation went on. He realized that person, this Buddha, has something to share, and eventually became a disciple with the 500 students. They put their all turbans, what they have been wearing on their head, to the river. When the next brother saw the river is floating with all their turbans, so something very strange, they went and they found out what happened. They have become a disciple of the Buddha. And then following brothers saw there, and all of them became disciples of the Buddha. So that is how eventually it becomes into 1,000 disciples of the Buddha that happen in this full moon day. So another thing is, Venerable Arahant Sariputta went to see his mother. So today we are about mothers as well. Sariputta is the command of Dhamma. Next to the Buddha, he was the well-known about all the teachings. So he couldn't really pass away without letting the mother to realize. Mother called Sari, Brahmin, she was not in the right view. So eventually he went there. It was Venerable Sariputta's final day. So illuminating the whole night, all the devas came and worshipped Venerable Sariputta. On the following morning, mother asked, what happened, that strange things? Venerable Sariputta said that those are being taken the real understanding of the Dhamma. So the mother has the interest to listen to that Dhamma. By listening to that Dhamma, mother was able to release from all suffering and attain the higher liberation, which happened a full moon day like today. Another important thing what happened is called laying the foundation to the stupa in Sri Lanka called Thuparama. Children, have you seen the Thuparama in Sri Lanka? Have you seen the big stupa called Ruwanvelisaya? Ruwanvelisaya, you need to go and see that. Thuparama is the first pagoda being built in 307 BC, a long time ago. Thuparama, the first foundation was put on this full moon day. So going back to the Madhupindika Sutta, Buddha was staying which temple, children? Buddha was staying in Nigrodharama. So which people are living in Nigrodharama? Sakyans, Buddha's relatives. So after having arms round, Buddha went to a Beligahak, called Bilwa tree, it says in English. It goes very close, belly and bilva. So he was sitting and resting after the midday alms. A person called Dandapani, very elderly person called Dandapani. Danda means stick, because he was having all the time stick. He was called Dandapani. He is a person who used to carry with a stick, heremitier, came while he was going for a walk. This Dandapani is an uncle of the Buddha, is the brother of Mahamaya. It says in the scriptures, Dandapani was the relative of the Buddha. He was an uncle. Even uncles, if you know something, they were not really interested about. Everyone is in their own world. Ne? So therefore, Dandapani saw the Buddha was sitting, his uncle, ne? So came to the Buddha with the stick, did not really, but he greeted him, but did not respect much. Because, Buddha has to make some psychic powers, Yama Mahapatihara, to break the pride of the relatives. So to Banakino Kianelesio, we have to break the certain barriers of the people. So therefore, that was the environment, you left town, then you are a Buddha. And that was the attitude people had. So this uncle came and asked, what are you really practicing? What is your doctrine? The Buddha said an interesting thing. He said, I do not quarrel with anyone in this world, with gods, with maras, with Brahmins, or its contemplatives, Brahmins, neither rulers nor people. I am living such a cool, peaceful manner, so I don't have any conflict with anyone. That was very little. But this is not a simple thing what Buddha said. A person can live without any conflict. What happened in our life? Only two things. One is we conflict with others, api gateno. The other one is api eleno. We get into attachments. Those are the two things happen. Buddha was very briefly, in a nutshell, said what really Buddhism is. He was asking, what is your practice, doctrine? What you preach? He says, I don't quarrel with anyone in this world, not either goats, not either Mara. There was 40 children came from a local school last Wednesday to learn about Buddhism. They were all 12 years old. Very interesting. They came as two groups, filled this room. They spent 1 hour each. They asked wonderful questions. The one was sitting there, asked, I learned Buddhism in school. What is this guy Mara called Gara guy? And they came to Buddha and attack Buddha and things like that. He was asking, and I was very patient, because you got to answer the children something really, if you give the wrong and some misleading things, they are going to brought up with those things. Even these days, people are criticizing about the katina. Someone was saying that somebody asked 1 lakh of rupees to bring the katina robe. You should not really say these things, because there are people in the society, sometimes they attack people in a different way. If they don't like what is happening, they just give a call. That person asks £1,000 for, these called rumors. Without knowing what is really happening. It happened to me. Sometimes people say, Hamduru asked this much. I didn't really ask that. If you don't know something, you should not talk because of someone said to you. That person may have different, that was what Madhupindika Sutta says. You go to analytically, go to your mind. If you don't really see something, if you don't really hear something by yourself, you should not, it's a rumors. It's gossip. It's useless. So you got to be careful. It happens naturally, all of us. That's natural. People make stories to get some things. You should be careful when you are criticizing about other people. You should not. Because you should not, you don't know how much of demerits, akusal, you are accumulating by doing that. So he was saying, I am living an amazing life without any conflict in this world. Not even with the kings, no any other person. If someone can live a life like that, that's the final bliss, final liberation. So therefore, when Buddha said that, I am detached from sensual desires, free from doubt and uncertainties, craving, I don't have any problem. That is my doctrine. But Dandapani couldn't really understand. Yeah, is that what you're saying? Oh, he just nodded his head and continued his journey. Didn't make any sense. So then Buddha went after that resting to the Nigrodharama monastery and sat with the monks. And Buddha said to the monks, I was sitting, this person called Dandapani came and asked me, and I answered like that. And he just walked away. So how many people, like we are walking, so many gems being hit on our foot. We are like blind people, If someone has the right eyes, the person will see the gems. So likewise, you need to have right merits to cross over certain things in your mind. Then when Buddha explained to the monks asked, how come someone live like that? So the second question asked by the monks. Then Buddha said, there are 7 anusayas. Anusayas means dormant defilements. You know that our defilements has 3 ways to activate. One is very dormant. They come very rarely into the surface level. Certain thoughts, feelings, emotions come to the surface level, but that does not come into effect, activate. Third category, they come from the bottom, come to the surface, and also come into the effect. Like sometimes when you are living, you get angry with other person. Sometimes it doesn't even come to the surface level. Sometimes it comes to the surface level, pariyuttana, and then eventually then you shout, then you make a noise, and things like that sometimes. Say, for example, when Kolita Mahatya coming back home after having a long day, when Vayominona making a cup of tea, singing a song, Kolita Mahatya knows the house environment is peaceful today. If Kolita Mahatya comes and Vayominona make glasses and bottles and put in noises and making things closing the doors and with the little sound, then Kolita Mahatya knows the environment is not good. So I need to take little. I know both of you don't do that. But that's how you can just sense your emotional nature. Those are called defilements. Generate is a very psychological thing because the person is being activated with different hormones and neurotransmitters. In our brain, there are good hormones and bad hormones. Good hormones like dopamine, endorphin, serotonin, and those things generated by doing all these good activities. It's a very psychological base, very neurological base, wonderful teaching delivered by the Buddha. So he says to the group of monks, second part, he explained how this is also in the Anguttara Nikaya called Anusaya Sutta. And it explained the same thing. There are 7 dormant defilements. They are sleeping. Anguru, aluyata anguru wage. They don't come quite often to the surface level. Buddha said, those things, what makes you into trouble, conflict, attachments. If you eradicate those things, then you will be living in the peace. So those 7 anusayas are desire for sensual pleasures. The second one is called Patighanusaya, aversion, anger. Mananusaya, that means conceit, ego. Dittyanusaya, wrong view. Vichikicha, that means doubt. And Bhavaraganusaya, that means desire for existence. wanted to come back again and again. Avijjanusaya, ignorance. So those are very psychologically, analytically, very powerful concepts. And then Buddha said that, Buddha closed his sermon from there. Then monks wanted to really understand this. Because in our mind, this is how conflict, if you really see this psychological mechanism, how it takes place, you will be able to get out of these problems and difficulties. Then monks were thinking, how can we get a little bit more understanding about that? The monk came into their mind. There is a monk called Mahakachayana. There are monks Buddha appointed as pioneers in certain things, like the Sariputta Handru, commander in Dhamma. Ya tamai dharmයෙන් ඉහළම කෙනා ධර්ම. ඒ වගේ Mahakachayana Handru is highest in analytical explanations. He has a great ability to explain things Buddha delivered in a subtle manner, in a brief manner. So the monks thought, let's go to Mahakachayana, Venerable Mahakachayana. Venerable Mahakachayana is one of the 80 Asumahasravaka, one of the 80 enlightened monks. It's not a normal monk. So they went to the Mahakachayana, Venerable Mahakachayana. Then monks were saying that Buddha said something like this. Can you kindly explain it? The Mahakachayana Hamudro asked, why you come to here? You have listened to the Buddha, who is the great knower, great teacher, great wisdom. You don't have to go. But however, if you are really happy, wanted to know, I will explain a little bit. He was explaining the cause and effect theory, how these things happen. What happened, he said, we have eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. There are 6 sense faculties. And we have the perceiving, form, sound, taste, hearing, thoughts, those external things. So those things, the eye goes into the sight, and with the contact is very important here. With the contacts, feeling generate. When the feeling generate, feeling started to create mental proliferations. We call papancha. Then we started to, it's like cows. You know, cow eat in the daytime, sit at the night time, take what is being all eaten at daytime and start eating the same thing again at the night time. If you look into a cow, during the night, cow is non-stop eating. So daytime, the daytime cow is eating and storing it somewhere, so he can take it back. And so we also like that. What happened in life, is it what that is what CBT teaches as well, cognitive behavioral therapy. I was choosing some of these things because Jinesa is also here, so she has already gone. So what happens if something happens? For example, say I am Thera Sangha Mahatya is in the Milton Keynes town, and he encountered me, and I didn't say hello to him, and I passed by. Prasanga Mahatya think, Hamduro was there, he didn't say even hello. Is there something wrong? So he passed me by and started building up thinking. That's what the cognitive behavior. Then he was going to get something, but after this, he doesn't wanted to really go for what he went for. He just come back home and throw the keys and put the bag and think. And then somebody asked, would you like? No, I don't want a cup of tea, anything. So after that, he think, I should have text or call and ask what is happening. Then I would say, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. So the problem is finished. But during that time, what has gone through in your mind is very damaging. That's what normally psychology, that's called mental proliferations. It is much serious than what I try to explain. in families, in our environment, a lot of situations like happen. That is what eventually lead into depressions, anxieties. Quite a few youngs are coming because they don't want to live anymore. These are being processing over and over in their mind. So therefore, it is really important to understand this mental proliferations. We call prapancha. Prapancha karna kiyala kiyanne අපි මේවා මනසින් තව තව පුහුර දම ගොඩනගන. ඒ ගොඩනගන්නේ how it happens when those two things, it's not the problem in your eyes, it's not the problem in what you see. When those two comes into contact, feeling generate. Feeling is where that eventually, that's why it is called dependent origination. You got to see these things analytically by having real. So for example, if you slow down this light bulb, you can see it's not a static light. It's a particles of electricity coming in the speed of light. Therefore, you see a static light. Similarly, your television is thousands, millions of dots, but you see as a picture. But really, if you slow it down, you will see, you don't want to watch any television. So that's the nature. Similarly, if you see what is happening inside of your mind in an analytical manner, it is make you easy to liberate from suffering. So long as you see it as a snapshot, you are having suffering. So therefore, he was saying this contacts generate the feeling. Feeling is what makes you, if there is no feeling, there is no problem. For example, say in Sri Lanka, we go to temples, all right? When we go in the Poya day like today, so many people in the temple. When you are going to the temple, you take your shoes off at the entrance gate. When you come back after 30 minutes, maybe 1 hour, your shoes are gone. Shoes are not there. Shoes are gone. Then what happened? You get angry. Oh, these are the people come to the temple. They should not be stealing others' shoes. And are there people, what the purpose they are coming to this? So I start blaming. But your shoes being taken away or lost maybe half an hour ago. By that time, you did not get angry, upset. If the context doesn't take place, you don't have that problem. That's what Buddha was trying to explain here. I happen to have a person here who was doing a course, and she said to me, you are exactly right. She went to see her grandmother. She was living alone. When she was going, grandmother was just collapsed on the flat, in the flat. And she called the ambulance. Ambulance people has to take care of this granddaughter more than the grandmother because she was panicked. And I was saying, she was saying, yes, that grandmother's incident has taken place at least 10-15 minutes ago. But when I go there, 10 minutes. So if I don't know that, I would not have been that in turmoil of panic nature. So if you wanted to help someone, you should not be in the emotional turmoil. If you wanted to really do something meaningfully, that's what Buddha explained. To avoid this conflict, you need to have this real discipline, mental training in your life, and it makes you feel very good. So likewise, the slippers been gone half an hour ago, but when you come after half an hour, because of the contacts, you are suffering. If you don't get contact, there is no problem with it. So that's what in essence, Mahakachayana Hamdro in a dependent origination way, cause and effect way, explain beautifully what happens psychologically, leading into samsara, creating a birth and death cycle, suffering in our life. So the monks were very happy. It's a very detailed, beautiful discourse. I encourage you all to read it, learn it. And then all the monks went back to the Buddha and said, Mahakachayana, Venerable Mahakachayana explained like this. Is that right? The greatness of the monks. There are some young monks now in YouTube and Sri Lanka. They're very young. They try to be like very senior. They just criticize all the senior monks. They are very quiet senior monks because they don't have to argue all these things. These young people were just showing colors, saying that these monks should not be like that. These are wrong, these are right. We know that few years later, they would be quiet because they are still very young. You know, being a teacher, how it is, you know, when the new teachers comes, they try to be smart. And so it called kind of maturity comes through the practice. So Buddha, these monks were very humble and went to the Buddha and said, Venerable Mahakaccayana explained this like that. The Buddha approved it. So that's how it has to be. You may heard something from someone, from a teacher or someone presenting it, but you need to go to the Dhamma, go into the scriptures, give in a good time to see whether it is right or wrong. Otherwise, you are like a lost person. You know, you may feel like inspired, but it will be in a very difficult manner. Then Buddha approved, saying, I would have done the same way to explain it. Then Venerable Ananda asked, Venerable Sir, now we heard a most wonderful discourse. It's a very amazing discourse. Can you suggest a name for this discourse? Buddha said, name it as Madhupindika, honey bowl, bowl of honey. Because this honey is a medicine, is a kind of an good thing for anything. Even just to put a little bit of that is a very good thing. You know, especially Buddha said, if a person is starving, very hungry, that person is given a small bit of honey because it's very healthy thing to do. You know, hungry person is angry person. You will get the same angry anushayas if I continue my talk. Because you want to know. So all these anushayas are called dormant. They are called sleeping defilements. It only comes if I continue Dhamma talk more. neurotransmitters. You feel better, you get endorphin, serotonin, and all these hormones. We get to have some joy of the Dhamma is the most important thing. Muscles relax. So that's good. That make you feel better, you lighter. So therefore, be happy for having this opportunity today. Sukha kamani bhutani. We all are in search of happiness. That is why we do all these things. And when we find the right happiness like this Dhamma, the sweetest thing, our life become sweet. Don't go into diabetics. So therefore, be happy for having this opportunity today to end the Dhamma discourse and the series of our training retreat. We also so blessed with having beautiful Dhamma discussions. May this Dhamma reflection bring you all the good health, happiness, and success. Sadhu, 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 and all the people, because it is a collective temple work. So even though we designated some names, it's been done by all of your support. If that is not been there, it has not been successful. Therefore, we take this opportunity to share our blessings, merits with them all. And in addition to Dayakas, our Hamdros also contributed a lot. So may both of us, monks and devotees, and even the Devas, you know, we believe it. Devas blessed us. Otherwise, it would have been difficult. So may the Devas rejoice in the merits. And not only Devas, our departed relatives and friends, they also very happy. And our living parents in Sri Lanka and here, may they also rejoice in these merits. Above all, our children, they learn a lot, they enjoy during these 3 months, and may they help in many ways, in the Perahara, in the Katina, in the cleaning. I think that has come. Little stop cleaning, continue. May they all equally blessed with our merits, And let us bring our palms together to share the merits together. Akasatta ca bhummatta devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu loka. Akasatta ca bhummatta devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu desanang. Akasatta ca devanaga punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu mang paranti dang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Let us sit for a few minutes meditation to finish our program. Just to reflect today's Dhamma sermon, the honey, the bowl of honey, Madhupindika, explain how someone can live without any conflict. Conflict with oneself, conflict with others. It's a great blessing, it's a great bliss. And that is the highest bliss, in fact. Buddha explain how one can do that by eradicating greed, hatred, and ignorance. And also noting that there are dormant, very subconscious level, maybe id, ego level, super id level, defilements called anusayas. We need to really remove those anusayas, kama raga anusaya, desire for sensual pleasures, patigha, aversion, anger, patighanusaya, mananusaya, conceit, ego, think of me, mine, myself, ditthiyanusaya, wrong view, vichikiccanusaya, doubt, bhavaraga anusaya, desire to repeatedly coming for the existence. Finally, avijjanusaya, the ignorance, are the causes of all these conflict. Just seeing those in the mind is the way to get rid of it, called sati, being mindful of those in the mind. And further, those things are being fed by eye, sight, and the contacts. Ear, sound, which generate through the contacts ear consciousness. Chakku viññāna, sota viññāna, nose and the smell, ghana viññāna. Contacts generate the contact consciousness. Similarly, all our senses generate this consciousness. It's like a small brain in our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. Even the modern science talk about different brains in tummy brain and things like that today, which means that consciousness generate with the contacts. knowing that the way it happens as a hetupala, dependent origination, we will be able to liberate our suffering, live a happy life. Breathe slowly in, breathe slowly out, relaxing the body. Breathe slowly in, breathe slowly out, relaxing the body. Breathe slowly in, breathe slowly out, relaxing the body. And let us reflect on metta, loving kindness. May I be well. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. As I am, may all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Sit 1 minute in silence to finish our meditation. Bringing our palms jointly together. Let us share the blessing for having this great meritorious deed today, even though we are slightly behind the time. All of you are participating with great joy. May they all equally share this blessing. May all the departed relatives and friends share the merits and blessings of this. A very happy birthday to Mrs. Peshala. Also to son Ajita, and also to blessing. So let us share our blessing, saying 3 times, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. We have been chanting the discourse delivered by the Buddha, first discourse, the Dhamma, wheel of Dhamma set in motion, Dhamm Sakpavatum Sutta, Dhamma Chakkapavatana Sutta. So today, on this full moon day, as we come to the termination of the 3 months retreat, we are going to do the same chanting with you all. May this be a great blessing for you all. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Samanta Chakravalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhammang Muni Rajassa Sunantu Sagga Mokkadang Dhammasavana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Dhammasavana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Parinta Dhammasavana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Evaṃ me sutaṃ ekaṃ samayang bhagavā vāraṇasiyang viharati sipatane migadāye tatra ko bhagavā pañcavaggiye bhikkhu āmante Veme bhikkave anta pabbajitena nasevitabbayo chayang kame sukama sukallikanu yogo hino gammo potujjaniko anariyo ananta sanghito yo chayang atta kilamatanu yogo dukkho anariyo ananta sanghito ete te Bhikkave upo ante anupagamma majjhima patipada tathagatena abhisambuddha cakku karani jnana karani upasamaya abhiññāya sambodhāya nibbānāya samvattati katamāca sā bhikkave majjhima patipada tathagatena abhisambuddha cakku karani Jnana karani upasamaya abhiññāya sambodhāya nibbānāya samvattati ayameva ariyo attangiko maggo seyyati samma ditti samma sankappo samma vācā samma kammanto samma Jivo samma vāyāmo samma sati samma samadhi ayangko sa bhikkave majjhima patipada tathagatena abhisambuddha cakku karani jnana karani upasamaya abhiññāya sambodhāya nibbānāya samvattati danko pana bhikkave dukkhaṃ ariya sacchaṃ Jātipi dukkha, jarāpi dukkha, vyādipi dukkho, maranampi dukkhaṃ, appiyehi sampayogo dukkho, piyehi vippayogo dukkho. Yang piccanna labati tampi dukkhaṃ saṅkittena pañcupada dukkha idang kopana bhikkave dukkha samudayaṃ ariya sacchaṃ jāyaṃ tanhā puno bhavika nandiraga sahagata tatra tatra binandini seyyati idang kāma tanhā bhava tanhā vibhava idang kopana Bhikkave dukkha nirodhaṃ ariya sacchaṃ yo tassā eva tanhāya asesa virāga nirodho cāgo patinissaggo muttiyānālayo idang kopana bhikkave dukkha nirodha gāmini patipada ariya sacchaṃ ayameva ariyo attangiko maggo seyyati idang sammā ditti sammā saṅkappo Samma vācā, samma kammanto, samma ājīvo, samma vāyāmo, samma sati, samma samadhi. Idang dukkhaṃ ariya sacchanti me bhikkave pumbe ananussute dhammesu cakkum udapādi jnanaṃ udapādi paññā udapādi viccā udapādi āloko udapādi tanko panidang dukkhaṃ ariya sacchaṃ pariññeyanti me bhikkave pumbe ananussute dhammesu Su cakkum udapādi jnanaṃ
udapadi
පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඥා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි තංකෝ පනිදං දුක්ඛං අරිය සත්‍යං පරිඤ්ඤාතන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු
ධම්මේසු
චක්කුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඥා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි ඉදං දුක්ඛ සමුදයං අරිය සත්‍යන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං
udapadi
පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඥා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි තංකෝ පනිදං දුක්ඛ සමුදයං අරිය සත්‍යං පහතප්පන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු
ධම්මේසු
චක්කුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඥා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි
තංකෝ පනිදං
දුක්ඛ සමුදයං අරිය සත්‍යං පහීනන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා
udapadi
විඥා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි දං දුක්ඛ නිරෝධං අරිය සත්‍යන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු
ධම්මේසු
චක්කුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඥා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි තංකෝ පනිදං දුක්ඛ නිරෝධං අරිය සත්‍යං සච්චිකාතබ්බන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු
ධම්මේසු
චක්කුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඥා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි තංකෝ පනිදං දුක්ඛ නිරෝධං දුක්ඛ නිරෝධං අරිය සත්‍යං සච්චිකතන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඥා
udapadi
ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි තං දුක්ඛ නිරෝධ ගාමිනී පටිපදාරිය සත්‍යන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු
ධම්මේසු
චක්කුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඥා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි තංකෝ පනිදං දුක්ඛ නිරෝධ ගාමිනී පටිපදා අරිය සත්‍යං භාවේ තබ්බන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු
ධම්මේසු
චක්කුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඥා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි තංකෝ පනිදං දුක්ඛ නිරෝධ ගාමිනී පටිපදා
අරිය සත්‍යං
භාවිතන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඥා
udapadi ආලෝකෝ
උදපාදි යාවකී වංච මේ භික්ඛවේ ඉමේසු චතුසු අරිය සච්චේසු ඒවන්ති පරිවට්ටං ද්වාදසාකාරං යතා භූතං ඥාන දස්සනන්න සුවිසුද්ධං
හෝසි
දේවතාවාහං භික්ඛවේ සදේවකේ ලෝකේ සමාරකේ සම්බ්‍රහ්මකේ සස්සමන බ්‍රහ්මනියා පජාය සදේව මනුස්සාය අනුත්තරං සම්මා
සම්බෝධින්
අபிසම්බුද්ධෝ පච්චඤ්ඤාසින් යතෝ චකෝ මේ භික්ඛවේ මේසු චතුසු අරි
සච්චේසු
ඒවන්ති පරිවට්ටං ද්වාදසාකාරං යතා භූතං ඥාන දස්සනං සුවිසුද්ධං අහෝසි යතාහං භික්ඛවේ සදේවකේ ලෝකේ සමාරකේ සබ්‍රහ්මකේ සස්සමන
බ්‍රාහ්මනියා
පජාය සදේව මනුස්සාය අනුත්තරං සම්මා සම්බෝධින් අபிසම්බුද්ධෝ පච්චඤ්ඤාසින්
ඥානං ච වේ දස්සනං
උදපාදි මුද්දපාදී අකුප්පාමේ චේතෝ විමුක්ති අයමන්ති මා ජාති නත්ති දානි පුනම්භවෝති ධමවෝච භගවා අත්තමනා පංච වග්ගියා බික්ඛු භගවතෝ
වාසිතං
අභිනන්දුන්ති මස්මින්ච පනවෙය්‍යා කරනස්මින් බංජමානේ ආයස්මතෝ කොණ්ඩඤ්ඤස්ස විරජං වීතමලං ධම්මචක්කුං
මුදපාදී
යං කිංචි සමුදය ධම්මං සම්බන්තං නිරෝධ ධම්මන්ති පවත්ති තේච පන භගවතා ධම්මචක්කේ බුම්මා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේ ඒතං භගවතා භාරාණසියං ඉසිපතනේ මිගදායේ අනුත්තරං ධම්මචක්කං අප්පතිවත්තියං සමනේන වා බ්‍රහ්මනේන වා දේවේන වා මාරේන වා බ්‍රහ්මුණා වා ලෝකස්මින් ති පුම්මානං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා චාතුම් මහරජිකා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේ ඒතං භගවතා භාරාණසියං ඉසිපතනේ මිගදායේ අනුත්තරං ධම්මචක්කං පවත්තිතං අප්පතිවත්තියං
සමනේන වා
බ්‍රහ්මනේන වා දේවේන වා මාරේන වා බ්‍රහ්මුණා වා කේන චිවා ලෝකස්මින් චාතුම් මහරජිකානං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා තාවතිං සා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සා ඒතං භගවතා භාරාණසියං ඉසිපතනේ මිගදායේ අනුත්තරං ධම්මචක්කං පවත්තිතං අප්පතිවත්තියං සමනේන වා බ්‍රහ්මනේන වා දේවේන වා මාරේන වා බ්‍රහ්මුණා වා
කේන චිවා ලෝකස්මි
මින්ති තාවතිං සානං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා යාමා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේ සුං ඒතං භගවතා භාරාණසියං ඉසිපතනේ මිගදායේ
අනුත්තරං ධම්මචක්ඛං
පවත්තිතං අප්පතිවත්තියං සමනේන වා බ්‍රහ්මනේන වා දේවේන වා මාරේන වා බ්‍රහ්මුණා වා කේන චිවා ලෝකස්මින් යාමානං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා තුසිතා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේ තුසිතානං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා නිම්මාන රති දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේ මිම්මාන රතිනං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා පරනිම්මිත
රසවත්තිනෝ
දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේ සුම් පරනිම්මිත වසවත්තිනං දේවානං සද්දං
සුත්වා
බ්‍රහ්ම පාරිසජ්ජා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේ සුම් බ්‍රහ්ම පාරිසජ්ජානං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා බ්‍රහ්ම පුරෝහිතා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේ බ්‍රහ්ම පුරෝහිතානං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා
මහා බ්‍රහ්මා
දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේ සුං මහා බ්‍රහ්මානං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා පරිත්තාභා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේ පරිත්තාභානං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා අප්පමානභා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේ සුං අප්පමානවානං දේවානං
සත්තං සුත්වා
ආභස්සරා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේ සුං ආභස්සරානං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා පරිත්ත සුභා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේ පරිත්ත සුභානං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා අප්පමාන සුභා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේ සුං අප්පමාන සුභානං දේවානං සද්දං
සුත්වා
සුභකින්නකා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේ සුං සුභකින්නකානං දේවානං සද්දං
සුත්වා
වේහප්පලා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේ සුං වේහප්පලානං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා අවිහා දේවා සද්ද
මනුස්සාවේසුං
අවිහානං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා අතප්පා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේසුං අතප්පානං දේවානං
සත්තං සුත්වා
සුදස්සා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේසුං සුදස්සානං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා සුදස්සී දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේසුං සුදස්සීනං දේවානං සද්දං සුත්වා අකනිට්ඨකා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේසුං ඒතං භගවතා භාරාණසියං ඉසිපතනේ විගදායේ අනුත්තරං ධම්මචක්ඛං පවත්තිතං අප්පතිවත්තියං සමනේන වා බ්‍රහ්මනේ දේවේන වා මාරේන වා බ්‍රහ්මුණා වා
කේන චිවා
ලෝකස්මින් තීතිහතේන කනේන තේන මුත්තේන යාව බ්‍රහ්ම ලෝකා සද්දෝ අපුග්ගච්චි අයං ච දස සහස්සී
ලෝක ධාතු
සංකම්පි සම්පකම්පි සම්පවේදී අප්පමානෝ ච උලාරෝ
බාසෝ
ලෝකේ පාතුරහෝසි අතික්කම්ම දේවානං දේවානුභාවන්ති අතකෝ භගවා උදානං
දානේසි
අඤ්ඤාසි වතබෝ කොණ්ඩඤ්ඤෝ අඤ්ඤාසි වතබෝ කොණ්ඩඤ්ඤෝ තීතිහිදං ආයස්මතෝ
ඤස්ස
අඤ්ඤා කොණ්ඩඤ්ඤෝ ත්වේව නාමං අහෝ සීති ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන සොත්තිතේ හෝතු
සබ්බදා
ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන සම්භ රෝගෝ විනස්සතු ඒතේන සච්ච හෝතු තේ ජය මංගලං සම්බීතියෝ විමජ්ජන්තු සම්භ රෝගෝ මාතේ භවත්වන්තරායෝ සුඛී දීඝායුකෝ භවතු සබ්බ
මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා
සබ්බ බුද්ධානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ භවතු සබ්බ
මංගලං
රක්ඛන්තු සම්බ දේවතා සබ්බ ධම්මානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ
දේවතා
සබ්බ සංඝානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ නක්ඛත්ත යක්ඛ පාපග්ඝානි වාරණා පරිත්තස්සානුභාවේන හන්තු තේ
සම්පත්තේ
නක්ඛත්ත යක්ඛ භූතානං පාපග්ඝානි වාරණා පරිත්තස්සානුභාවේන හන්තු තේ සංඋපද්ද වේදේකෝ පස්සතු
කාලේන
සස්ස සම්පත්ති හේතුච පීතෝ භවතු රාජා භවතු ධම්මිකෝ sadhu sadhu sadhu. That come to the end of our chanting of the first discourse delivered by the Buddha, most holy, sacred, the discourse, blessed discourse Mangala Sutta, called the Dhamma, wheel of Dhamma set in motion. Now we are, please keep the palms to get the final blessings. Abhivadana Silissa Nichang Vaddhapachayino Chattaro Dhamma Vaddhanti Ayuvanno
Kambalang
Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti
Mevacha
Ato Nibbana Sampatti Minate Samijatu. හැමදිනාටම තෙරුවන් සරණයි. Please come and get a blessing thread. Did you enjoy the talk?
Yes.